What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Phoenix here, and welcome back to a brand new Marvel Spider-Man 2 informational video. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about the 4 reasons why Kraven could be Venom's host. So if you guys haven't already, make sure you guys go ahead and leave a like on that video. And without a doubt, let's go ahead and jump right into it. This article from fansided.com says, fuel was aided to the fire once Brian Intihar, creative director at Insomniac Games, revealed that Eddie Brock isn't going to bond with the symbiote in Marvel Spider-Man 2. Instead, Brian told players they would figure out Venom's identity by playing the game and experiencing the story for themselves. This all but confirms Harry Osborn will take the place of Eddie Brock as Spidey's darkest villain. After all, it makes narrative sense, right? Now, for the sake of it, yes. Now, as you guys know, Brian did take the stage at Summer Game Fest, and he flat out said that Eddie Brock is not going to be Venom. Now, as soon as that happened, everybody started to say that it was Harry, and I'm not gonna lie, with Harry being in there, I feel like he's not going to be Venom, because based on the gameplay we got, it's been 6 months. So my main question is, how on earth did Peter get the black suit on him? Is my question, because in the gameplay that doesn't add up, because it's been 6 months. So between those 6 months, thing is that, like, this pretty much backs up. Ever since Kraven got into the game, it seems like Peter's had the symbiote for 6 months, like I keep saying. But at the same time, though, we don't know who's going to be the host at all ever since. So now we're thinking that it's going to be, at first we all think it was going to be Harry, and after that, at some point we thought it was going to be Peter, and after that, turns out that we don't know who it is. So yeah, following that, it says Marvel Spider-Man 2 could follow the same storyline as its predecessor, which saw the Wallcrawler face 2 main antagonists as well. Otto Octavius was Peter's mentor before turning into the evil Dr. Ock, and Mr. Negative was already a fully formed supervillain when he first crossed paths with Spider-Man. This is already true. Following that, it says, for the sequel, Peter could fight someone he cares about again if his best friend is corrupted by the symbiote. Additionally, Kraven could enter the scene as an already existing foe, replacing Stab. As a result, both games would see Spidey battle someone close to him and somebody else who already has a lot of experience being a supervillain. Now, as you guys know, this is the first time that, like, here's the thing. This is our first time ever seeing Kraven in Marvel Spider-Man, like in the Insomniac Games universe. So we don't know if he is Spider-Man or not, because when you think about it, Peter did say Rhino, his second favorite Russian. So that honestly makes me think that Kraven is his first favorite Russian or something else. Or I forgot what he said. But on top of that, not to mention, I can see Kraven filling, a little Mr. Negative role right there as well. I'm actually agreeing with that. Like, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. I really do agree with this. He could fit the Mr. Negative role. And boom, we got the main antagonist coming. But following that says, or at least that's what Insomniac wants us to believe. So honestly, they want us to believe that is what they're calling. Honestly, they want us to believe that is what I'm getting at that. But following that says, Marvel Spider-Man 2 can adapt to the Wallcrawler's greatest story, which is going to be Kraven's Last Hunt. As you guys know, they're taking inspiration from Kraven's Last Hunt, but instead of it, they're twisting it. Now, honestly, all signs point to Harry being Venom, but there's that 50% right there. Keep in mind, like, I think it's 50-50. We think it's Harry because of the post-credit scene that we got from Marvel Spider-Man and Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales. And there's that other percent that I think that Kraven has the symbiote suit. He's going to be the host. But following that, it says, Kraven's Last Hunt is regarded by many as the greatest Spider-Man story ever. In it, Sergei Kravenov kills a black-suited Spider-Man, dresses like him, and takes his place to prove he can be a better hero. Once he's able to pose as a Wallcrawler, Kraven hunts a loose villain in New York that Peter couldn't defeat on his own to prove his superiority. Wouldn't you know it? All the pieces are in place for Kraven's Last Hunt to be adapted into the game. Now, I believe that this makes sense because, for one, we don't know, because, like, you think about it, back in that trailer that we got in 2018, back when you guys really think about that trailer that we got back in 2021, that doesn't line up. And after that, we get this new picture of Venom that has a spider symbol on it. So we have two Venoms in the game, which honestly doesn't make any sense. Because along with that, I really do think that the Venom that we got, that we saw concept art of, is 100% going to be Kraven the Hunter. But following that, it says, Insomniac released a trailer featuring Kraven for Marvel Spider-Man 2. In it, we learn that Sergei is looking for an equal that's able to push his limits. This hunt will take him to New York, where he'll meet a version of Spider-Man who is already using the black suit. Not only that, but he also wants to take down other loose supervillains that had a previous encounter with Spider-Man himself. Even if we know very little about Insomniac's next project, it's easy to see there are slight parallels between the storylines of the game and the comics. It wouldn't be far-fetched to assume Marvel Spider-Man 2 could be an adaptation of Kraven's Last Hunt. Now, I do believe that is some sort of reference, and it seems like they are taking inspiration from Kraven's Last Hunt, because, as I said before, it looks like Kraven is coming to New York to hunt down every single supervillain and everybody there. So with that, honestly, with Kraven coming to New York, he already wants to take on Spider-Man. So my guess is for the fact, like, he knows about Peter and Miles being Spider-Man. So he wants to automatically go there to use his better talents, because he believes that Peter and Miles could push him to his limit. But following that says, Kraven could wear the symbiote to pose as Spider-Man. Most Spider-Man stories see our friendly neighborhood hero ditch the black suit after realizing how dangerous it is, and it's implied that will also be the case for Marvel Spider-Man 2. After being discarded, sentient goo usually develops a deep hatred towards Peter and looks to bond with someone else who wants to see him suffer as well. That spot is normally reserved for Eddie Brock, but since we know he's not going to become Venom, that leaves us with two logical options: Harry Osborn or Sergei Kravenov. Now, with this, I do believe that it is not going to be Harry, because like I said before, Harry is dying and the symbiote is the only thing that can save him. And on top of that, not to mention for the fact that it's been 6 months in the trailer, so Peter has the black suit on him, so that wouldn't make any sense either. So that's what makes me think that at some point in the game, Kraven is going to fight Peter, and Peter's probably going to beat him up, and that's going to leave him to be dishonored at some point in the game. That's going to bring him a lot of dishonor, because he's a hunter, and he doesn't want to be put to shame like that. Along with that, at some point, Peter is going to ditch the black suit, and the symbiote's going to go to Kraven, thus giving us, Kraven as the host. But following that, it says, Harry has no reason to hate Peter at all. We know that they are both best friends, and we also know that Peter is trying his best to save Harry's life. In the gameplay reveal trailer, Spidey has a line of dialogue that says, "We can't lose Connors. Harry's dying, and he's the only one who could help." If our friendly neighborhood hero successfully saves Harry's life, it's unlikely that the latter would try to kill him after that, even if using the symbiote. Now, this makes some sense, because when you think about it, Peter has on the black suit in that trailer, and he has that specific line. We already know for a fact that in the game, Dr. Connors is trying to save Harry, because, as you guys know, in Miles Morales, at the post-credit scene of it, we did see that Kurt Connors is involved in curing Harry of his disease. And on top of that, to mention, he was probably monitoring the symbiote as well that was keeping him alive. So it makes a lot of sense right there why it would not be Harry, and he has no reason to hate him as well. But following that, it says, Kraven, on the other hand, is out to prove his superiority over Spider-Man. It would make sense for the symbiote to attach to Sergei, who will likely have fought the wall crawler by that point. Besides, it would allow Kraven to pose as Spider-Man with the black suit and take down the remaining three villains that terrorize New York. That would prove that Kraven can be a better hero than Spidey himself, if allowed to be in his place, which is what Sergei wanted to accomplish in Kraven's Last Hunt. Now, I do 100% agree with this. At some point in the game, the symbiote will attach to Kraven, and it will cause him to be the host for it, which will then in turn make him realize that Peter is Spider-Man as well. Along with that, this is something else that could happen. Now, this really piqued my interest right here. It says Miles Morales could take Peter's place. If Marvel Spider-Man 2 truly adapts the Kraven's Last Hunt storyline, then maybe we'll see Sergey temporarily kill and bury Peter Parker. But while that could make for a great story, it doesn't work from a gameplay perspective. If a game removes its main character, then who's the player supposed to control? Usually be a problem unless the game has two playable characters, just like Marvel Spider-Man 2. If Peter is taken out of the picture, then Miles could be a perfect replacement that would also pay homage to Miles' origin, who became Spider-Man after the Peter Parker of his world dies in the comics. Now, I don't know about you guys, but seeing as that this is a Peter story, and it's also Miles' story as well, I feel like they shouldn't do that, because at the same time, we still need Peter for a third game. At least we still need him for a third game, because like we already know that we're going to get Goblin in the third game already as it is. Now, with that, I can see Miles working with the disguise Kraven posing as Spider-Man as well, which would honestly give us a chance. Like, if you guys haven't played, The Last of Us Part 1, that scene where that whole entire winter section where Joel is out of commission and you're playing as Ellie for that whole entire section. They could do something like that. But following that, it says, besides, let's not forget that Insomniac's Peter Parker just fixed his relationship with Mary Jane and has probably moved to her place. If Kraven buries him just after he starts to live with MJ, it could also mimic the story told in Kraven's Last Hunt, with the difference that they just got married later in the story. Now, we don't know for a fact, seeing as that Peter is moving in with MJ, Peter now lives in his Aunt May's house in Forest Hills, and MJ will potentially be moving in with him. So I could see that having like a different take. I could see that having like a different take as well. But that's just me. And after that, we just see Kraven just jump right in there and he buries him alive and stuff like that, like right after. But following that, it also says Venom would truly be the dark version of Spider-Man. We all know Venom was created to be the dark version of Spider-Man. If Peter hadn't found the strength to ditch the symbiote, then he would have been corrupted until the point of being transformed into a supervillain himself. Venom is meant to represent who Peter could have become if it wasn't for his sense of morality and responsibility, which we all know for a fact that Venom is supposed to be Peter's darker and evil half. So I feel like that could play a role as well, because whoever's going to get it is going to know for a fact that Peter is Spider-Man, and they're going to instantly transform into Venom, and that's going to be a thing that we're going to have to see. But following that, it says Marvel Spider-Man 2 has the chance to take this concept a step further if Kraven truly wears the symbiote. Sergey may be the villain, but he's a man of honor as well. He always has a reason to do what he does, and he takes pride in winning fair fights. That's the reason he usually doesn't use lethal weapons when trying to take down Spider-Man. It would be too easy for someone like him to shoot a bullet and end with his prey once and for all. However, that isn't what Kraven wants. As we discussed earlier, he's looking for an equal who can push him to become the greatest hunter to ever walk the earth. Now, there is honestly no reason why Kraven will need the symbiote, because like right there, like I just said, he's a man of honor and he doesn't believe in using any sort of tricks to win a fight. So in my opinion, that doesn't seem like that's right. But at the same time, Spider-Man could end up disrespecting him so badly and he could be badly beaten that could affect his honor as well, which could in turn end up with him using the symbiote as well. Because if you guys don't know, in Spectacular Spider-Man, after Spider-Man beat Kraven, Kraven realized that powers were the only thing that Peter had that were the only reason why he beat him. So perhaps that could also work. Once Kraven realizes that he has powers, and that's the main reason why he was beaten by Spider-Man as well. And that's just a really good twist. Let me know what you think about that in the comments section below, because I feel like that could happen as well, But following that says, if a man with such strong values as Kraven is manipulated by the symbiote, slowly turning him into someone we don't recognize anymore, then he would truly be the dark version of Spider-Man. That would allow players to see how Peter could have ended up if he didn't ditch the symbiote and failed to become greater, which is the motto of Insomniac's Spider-Man games, which I 100% agree with. But following that says, fortunately, it seems it won't be long before we learn more about Venom in Marvel Spider-Man 2. Insomniac will be at San Diego Comic-Con, and they will have a panel where they will talk about the Legion Protector himself. While it's highly unlikely they will reveal his identity, maybe a hint will be dropped. And let me know what you guys think down below. Like, do you guys think that there's like a lot of reasons why Kraven could be Venom? Or do you guys think there's a lot of reasons why it backs up as host? But without a doubt, it's been your boy Phoenix, and I'll see you guys later with another spectacular Spidey webtastic banger.